Welcome in. It is day 318, and you're speaking with the Meeples Champion. And today, we're going to be going over a game that I actually have played both on Board Game Arena and in person. This is a game that is pretty simple. There's really not a whole lot to the game, and yet it is a little bit of a math conundrum and a spatial conundrum as you're trying to face off for territory. The game is called Iwari. Now, in Iwari, again, it's extremely simplistic in the game design, the setup. You can choose either side of the board, just two different designs, but either one works. You have multiple player counts from 2 up to 5 players. And the idea is very straightforward. You have a bunch of cards, each card representing a different colored section of the board. You get to, at the start of the game, start with 3 cards. And on your turn, you have 2 possible actions. One is, you're going to discard a card and choose a new one. Either one of the 4 face-ups, or off the top of the deck at random. If that's your choice, that's your entire turn, you're done. Or you can place into a location. Now to do this, you're going to play either one single card or 2 of the exact same card, which would count as a wild, and name a location. So you might play a red card, saying you're going to go into the red section. You may now drop a tent into one of the small circles in that section. You have both tents and totems. However, you can never place a totem unless you already have a tent in the section. Totems cannot be placed first. So at the start of the game, your very first turn, if you were to have a red and 2 yellows, technically you could place 2 items. 1 red and then the 2 yellows as a wild as a second red. And then you could draw from the face-ups or the pile your 3 cards back. If you do this, you draw the face-up cards, you do not replace them. So you could draw up to all 3 there, or take 1 and then say, I'm going to take the second and the third off the top of the deck. Once you're done, you fill up the rest of the face-ups, and the next player goes. However, the way it works is, you can only place as many tents as there are currently items already there, plus 1. Meaning on your first turn, you can only place 1 tent. Then, the next person that decides to enter that section would count the tents up and go, okay, there's already a tent. So I can place a 1 tent plus an additional tent. I can place 2. So that would be the setup of your turn. Now, let's say you're that second player. You do not have the option to place a tent and then to place a totem. At the start of your turn, you did not have a tent in there. Therefore, a totem was not eligible to you for the turn. Now, there are only so many spaces for your tents. They're very clear. But your totems go into a section that stacks. Therefore, it is unlimited. You could spread your totems throughout everything, or you could just focus everything in one spot. Technically, if every player got 1 tent into one section, you could just keep stacking and have 1 spot only that all the totems end up in. However, the way the game works, once you've figured out this placing system, is that you will go until the deck runs dry, and once the last card has been drawn from the deck, you'll make sure you replenish your hand, and then you're going to score all of the sections for the most of the tents. Now, the way this works is, whoever has the most tents will score the total number of tents in the section of everybody. So if you're in the red section and you had 3, somebody else had 2, and somebody else had 1, you're going to get 6 points. Then whoever was second place, the person with 2, will score based on the number of tents that first place had. They'll get 3 points. And depending on player count, if you are scoring a third player, the 1 will score 2 points for the amount of tents that second place had in there. So it's good for first place to have the most tents, but you don't need to be dominant. If you're trying to over flourish the market with way too many tents, then you're going to end up being, oh, well, I have 5, second has 1, and there's nobody else. I score 6, second scores 5. You're helping them too much. So you want to score, but you don't want to be helping somebody else score on an equal basis with you. So that's the first time. Once you finish that up, you're going to shuffle up your discard, and you're going to keep playing until you run out of cards a second time. When this happens, now you're going to score the exact same way again for all your sections. However, you will now also score additionally for your totems. The totems will only score to first place, and first place will get the total number. And then you're going to be scoring based on whoever has the longest, essentially the longest route. Meaning you're going to see if you have a connected chain of 4 or more, and you'll be scoring for that, for your uninterrupted chains. Well, that's the basics, but why don't we jump in? Let's talk our 7 categories and see where this game lands for us. When it comes to the art, I actually like the box. I think the box is nice. I think it stands out. I don't think it reflects loads of other boxes. And I think that the board, while it is a bit reflective of a lot of those area control style boards with its color and its placement of tents, I think that it grabs the eye. I think these do a great job. Thumbs up. Your components. So you've basically got your cards, which I think are good. They're definitely a 3, maybe a 4 out of 5 quality. They're not going to rip or tear or wear. You've got your tents, which are all going to be wooden. And then you've got your totems, which are more of a plastic. And I think that all of these are good quality. Thumbs up. Your price. Surprisingly, this isn't that expensive. You're probably getting this from 30 to 40. It's not a huge game. There's not a load of components here. Now, the game's not massively available. You'll find it, but you're more likely to find it in 2 out of 5 board game stores. And I've never seen this in a commercially big store. It's never been in a Barnes & Noble, a Target, a Walmart. But you can also find it online, and you can play it on Board Game Arena. So it's out there to try there as well. I think that you're getting a good game for a good price. Thumbs up. Your difficulty. So the game here is all about trying to take control of area control, as well as mastering the ability of what cards to draw and hold on to, when you should spend big compared to when you should hold on. I think that this game has a lot of great options that allow it so that an experienced player can enjoy it, but I don't think it's too much. I think it's a pretty basic game to the point where a beginner can play. I actually think that kids can play this game as well. I don't find it to be that complicated, but I do think it excludes a lot of those expert players because what you're doing here is not to a level that's going to be that competitive for them. I do think there's competition to be had here, but I think they're looking for a more in-depth game. But that's enough for me. It's a thumbs up. Replayability. This game plays in under an hour, and it's a fun game. It's not a hard setup. It's just shuffle up the deck once and you're good. You're good to go. So I think this game has plenty of replayability. Thumbs up. Is the game unique? So to me, the game takes on the aspects of 1, risk. You've got area control. You're trying to get in there and fill in your sections. And 2, a little bit of near and far. You're placing out your tents, but in near and far, you start with the tents. It's also got a little bit of that what is it, tic-tacky or tack-ticky. It's a game that I reviewed earlier this year, and I'm having a moment of forgetfulness, remembering its entire name. But the idea of the totem stacking, it reminds me of that. So it's got little physical aspects of different games. I think that it has a fun get-together of them, but I don't feel like it stands out as a massively unique game. I think that it does a simplified version of what other games have done already. So for me, I can't give it unique. Thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? It's a fun game, and it's one that you may enjoy, but I would go play on Board Game Arena first. I enjoyed the game, and I wouldn't be upset if it was in my collection, but since I can play it on Board Game Arena, I just haven't made the effort to add it to my collection. I think it's a game that I can enjoy there, and I don't need to have a physical copy. Well, it has been day 318, and we've been speaking about the game Iwari, and you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. And if you ever want to play with me on Board Game Arena, jump on, look me up under the Meeples Champion, send me a friend request, a game request, happy to play. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.